Well, good afternoon and welcome to another program, Transforming Lives One at a Time. And of course, on this program, we seek to catapult persons into their destiny so that they can make meaningful contributions to their society. This program is aired every Saturday at 5:30 in the p.m. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, Transforming Lives One at a Time. Well, on today's program, we will be speaking about our very, very precious retirees and senior citizens and some of the issues that affect them. My guest today is the Public Relations Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Retired Persons Association, TTAP, Mr. Selby Cole. Mr. Cole, welcome and thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Ms. Mcletchie, and thank you for having us, giving us a chance to dialogue together on subjects that I think we never have sufficient time on.
Definitely. Well, first of all, tell us about TTAP and the role and objective of the organization.
Okay. It stands for Trinidad and Tobago Association of Retired Persons. It's patterned on the AARP of the United States, which is American Association of Retired Persons. Okay. And we are Trinidad and Tobago Association of Retired Persons. But because, members can join, are eligible to join from the year of 50 or 50 years old.
Okay.
The thing about it is that a lot of people have not yet retired at 50. And for legal documents, we have left the word retired, but we are catering also for people who are still working between 50 and 60 and so on. So that we consider ourselves not only retired from work environment, but also we are responsible. So the word responsible comes because, again, as I said, some of us are not yet retired.
Okay.
Or some of them.
Right. All right. Well, in your interactions with other stakeholders, what are some of the difficulties or the challenges you find retirees facing?
Okay. Immediately comes to mind, the question of entrances to buildings and so on. The question of the access, proper access. I must say that that sort of thing has been in the news quite a lot in the last few years, and a lot of work has been done to deal with that.
Okay.
Right? And similarly, for instance, on the vessel, the elevator they're provided for those who might be, So I would say it's less of a work in progress than it used to be. But there are some places, that is, as I said, just one area. Well, you asked about, okay, in the banks, some elderly folks may not be too familiar with what is going on in the banks now. While we in our organization do encourage the online activities, we also recognize that a lot of people, it is coming out into the open that is important to them. Even though some things could be done online, they want to come out and say hello and hi and so on. Correct. They want to come to the banks. They actually want to come out and look around. And that is one of the things that we try to encourage our members to do. Get up, go out, don't stay in the house all the time.
Yes.
Get out into the sunshine. Continue to live your life.
All right. So we're talking about inaccessible buildings that are inaccessible. Mm-hmm. And so you said you have seen some improvements over the years.
Definitely.
But of course there is always room for more improvements.
Definitely also.
Yes.
But I would venture to say that the powers that be are dealing with whatever they see is necessary in those.
Right. But that would be like for public buildings, but also the private sector has their parts to play in terms of having their businesses outfitted with the necessary the ramps and all the things that are needed so that persons probably with a disability or just having a problem going up the steps can be able to access. Understood. Well, it is no secret that we have a major gap between some of our youth, our young people, and our seniors. What can we do to foster greater partnerships with the organization to close or even lessen that gap?
Okay. Well, first of all, going back to long ago, there wasn't that gap because a family environment was a different environment. But of course, life changes.
Yes.
And we have to accept what is going on now. Well, what can be done? We should, I think, encourage all our members for one, we do, and we should encourage people in general to think about communicating with the other generation.
Yes.
We are not going to be here forever. And that generation will be the generation later on. And we need to be able to pass on our ideas to them, one. But at the same time, yes, we need to try to understand them. There are a lot of things they could teach us that we don't know.
Correct.
Right? Just on Saturday, we had our chairman was trying to find out something in a phone.
Yes.
And a lady had brought her young relative, and he was able to deal with it immediately. So the point is that at whatever age we are, we have something to learn from the youths.
Yes.
And the youths, we need to point out and show them what they can learn from us.
Yes. So it's a partnership. So, because from the time you spoke about the youngster, immediately my mind ran on a phone or a laptop, some kind of device that they would have needed help with.
Right.
And of course, they know these devices
to a T.
Listen, whatever problem you have with that device, just put it in the hand.
Right.
Sometimes even the 7 and 8 year old, they know how to rectify the problem.
Right. And that is the thing. And if they know how to rectify something, let them rectify it.
Yes, of course. Give them the opportunity. Well, I am of the firm belief that our seniors have been endowed with a great level of wisdom, knowledge, and experience that the younger generation desperately needs. And they need to acquire that kind of information so that we can be able to have a level of continuity. Can we make a greater effort? Maybe connect with various community councils, churches, youth groups, and other entities to seriously address this?
Definitely. I have no doubt that we should be making a greater effort. What I can tell you is that quite recently, the President of the Republic became our patron, and she gave us that as a mandate, to deal with mentoring the youth.
Okay.
I must admit that I don't think that earlier on in our organization we had thought or concentrated on that to any great extent, but we definitely are getting into that now. And I must say that a lot of our members have been doing mentoring in their own professions and so on, even before they even became members in our organization.
Right.
Might be a policeman, teachers, and so on and so forth, in their own communities, in their church groups.
Yes.
So that we are encouraging our members to have a body that goes into this now. But I think the question of greater effort comes in that the different community-based organizations need to do it together. They need to make sure that they are not at cross purposes to each other. Because wherever you go, there is something to be done for the youth. And those community-based organizations, I think, need to make sure that they are not at cross purposes to each other.
Right. Because I think we need to have a more comprehensive approach to how we deal with this. And I am so happy that you said that that was one of the mandate given by Her Excellency. And I think we really need to delve in more and get more of these community councils involved in every single village in Tobago, in all the villages in Tobago. And even like the police youth club, they would normally do different programs, and because it's a youth club, you would find most of the youngsters, even as I think about like the football clubs. So I'm thinking that this is a really great opportunity to be able to foster that kind of partnership, try to bridge that gap between our youth, and I'm even thinking the middle age, because sometimes we say our seniors and our youth, but in the middle of that, you have persons that sometimes get lost.
Lost, I like your word lost. I like your word lost. The thing about it is that, and I must thank you for allowing us to come and speak together, because even from what we are now speaking, I see I need to go back to my organization and let them have a more effort to bridge and have more dialogue with some of those other organizations.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
so that we might be working in different areas, but we need to all be on the same page.
Of course. Well, that is the transforming lives one at a time, is to be able to bring communities closer together. So in any way that we can partner with your organization, partner with other youth groups to ensure and bring the desired end and the results that we need, we are very, very willing, and we are able. So you could call on us at any time, and we will be more than happy to bring persons on, and we could speak about various initiatives. Because off the bat, I am thinking like a family day. You have some nice sporting events. So you have some for the youth, you have some for the seniors, egg and spoon races,
and you have some for both of them.
Yes.
That they can do together also.
Because a lot of persons cannot even remember about these games, egg and spoon. And you have this boiled egg and you run into, or even musical chairs. So things like that, you have both the youth and the senior citizens. There will be some games that they wouldn't be able to partake in, and we understand that. But we can actually tailor the family day to exactly, and the events to events that would be accommodating for both our youth and our seniors.
So that at the end of the day, everyone goes home smiling and feeling happy that they have associated with one another.
Certainly, and that is what it is all
And they would
about.
say, I didn't know that gentleman could do that. Right? And you could say, but that little boy could run fast.
Yes.
Right? And so on and so forth.
Of course, so it's fun, family, friends.
And learning how to deal with other people.
Yes.
And you come to where they're having the soft drinks, you say, could I have this please?
Yes.
And so on and so forth. What would you like? And it's a work in progress.
Yes, definitely. But I'm very happy that you have already started it, and I know it can only get better. As we address possible ways to bridge the gap between our seniors, the middle age, and our youth, I'm of the opinion that we need to be a little more intentional about the issue, not just hoping it will happen, but actually creating the environment for this synergy and connection to take place. What are your thoughts and suggestions about these?
Occasionally, I think we need to have conferences, joint conferences. I am one of those who believe we need to seek out the youth. We had a health fair. There was a health fair. No, we didn't organize it, but we were allowed to come and assist in recruiting people and so on. And there was some youths there that came to do an exercise session. And we believe that that is very important, and that is one of the areas that the youth and the elder folks can participate together, because they carried on the session at that time at Gulf City for everyone. So intentional, I say conferences, But conferences must not stay in the classroom,
Right.
or you come up with a set of ideas and do nothing about them. So that there has to be, at the end of those, it has to be that we are going to do this. We have to get back to let everyone know the results of this by a certain time, and so on and so forth. I think it's a matter of schedules, or else we just, went to that place and we haven't gone any further.
Right, yeah, schedules. Well, as you continuously interact with the various stakeholders, you would be able to come up with plans and initiatives that would be able to foster that kind of...
That must not stay on paper.
Yes, that kind of community spirit. That is definitely what we need. Just shifting gears a bit, I know that there are various health issues that would affect our seniors, including Alzheimer's, dementia, arthritis, high blood pressure, diabetes, and the likes. Let's just talk a little bit as we get ready for the break. We're going to start, and after the break, we're going to continue. So let's just talk about that a bit.
Okay. First of all, every day we get a little older. So I think it is very important for all of us to know a bit about, as we get older, to know a bit about all of these ailments. But I would want to suggest that attitudes are very important. But not everybody has the same attitude. Some people may get very depressed very quickly.
Right.
But attitude plays a very important part, the positive sort of attitudes and so on. So yes, we need to face those possibilities. We need to know that some of us will have to, right? But knowledge is power. And knowing how to deal with those things.
Right.
And sometimes we do things in our lives that cause our own stress, and so on and so forth. So that, as I say again, attitude is important. But I would say the important thing, some people might say, let go and let God. Right? But we need to take each day as it comes.
Okay.
Take each day as it comes. But come out and do whatever has to be done. And whatever action we need to take, we need to get it done. I don't know if that answers it so much. Okay.
Well, we're going to delve in a little bit more in terms of some of these diseases and how they actually, the kind of impact that they have on our seniors. Because remember, it's now a changing. You are now adapting to a new life, or to a new, or something that is now affecting you in a manner that you have never experienced before. So I would definitely want us to delve into that. But just before that, I am thinking in terms of seniors, and as you say, every day we get older, and there is a place for a certain level of wisdom. Because I remember, a gentleman was telling me, he said when he was younger, like 30, 40s, that kind of thing, he used to climb up some poles and stuff like that. He was a technician.
Right.
And then he said he reached about 65 and he looked at the pole and his mind is telling him, listen, you can go up that pole.
But the mind is a powerful thing.
Yes, it is. But his body is telling him, asking him, are you mad? So I'm just thinking in terms of how important it is to put in that level of wisdom so that you would understand and know that you're not as young as you used to be.
You mean that things, whatever we do, we should be realistic in what we do.
Definitely.
And not go above what we should not be doing.
Right. We should be able to manage it in a better way. All right, viewers, we're going to take a short break at this time and come back. You're viewing Transforming Lives one at a time. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor, or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic, and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus, a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Welcome back to the program. We are talking about issues that affect our retirees and senior citizens. I'm here with the PRO of TTAP, Mr. Selby Cole. Mr. Cole, just before the break, we were talking about health and some health issues that may and will arise from time to time in our seniors and senior citizens, in our seniors and retirees rather. Let's talk a little bit about Alzheimer's and dementia and some of the effects, the impact it will have on our seniors and what your organization is doing to ensure that they are having the necessary information that they need to be able to overcome.
Yeah. So, as we said just before we went into the break, we need to be realistic.
Yes.
And this is a fact of life, that this will happen to some people. We talk about even as we get older, doing things. I do Sudoku now. I do Sudoku because I figure that is something good for the mind.
Okay.
So I think we need to, just as with the body, we need to exercise our mind. So again, we need to keep walking and being fit and so on and so forth. And a lot of us figure dancing is a way to keep fit. But yes, we also need to find all those methods and deal with whatever we have to deal with. Practical things, besides we have lectures and so on and so forth. We have, if you think you can just start jotting down things.
Right.
Jotting down things so that you make a little list of things yourself.
Yes.
Right? I think those are very important.
And I'm also thinking in terms of the family support, because we were talking, even during the break, we were talking about the younger persons in the family and being able to adapt to that new change as to what the seniors are going through. It may be an aunt, it may be a grandmother. You know, you need to find out exactly how to deal with it.
The family support is very, very important because you may have your mother or father or aunt and they have reached a stage where they cannot remember you.
Right.
And you can't imagine how is it she cannot remember me and is saying that, who are you?
Yeah.
And this is where we have to make sure that the information is on a two-way street, that the younger folk also know those possibilities and know how to deal with them. Not to be impatient, to go that extra mile, to understand, because, and one of these days they themselves may have to be in that themselves, and it would be good for them to be able to know how to deal with that. So understanding is a very important part of the whole thing.
And I'm hearing education, very, very important.
Very important.
Because as you have the information as to, for example, dealing with Alzheimer's, dementia, and when you have the information as to what is expected, you know the signs, you know the symptoms to look for, and you know exactly what you have to, how to address it.
Right.
In terms of that.
Right, because when you know about something, half of the battle or half of the whole question is dealt with. Because you know what you should do, what you could do, what you should not do. So it's half of the battle is won, if you want to call it that.
Definitely, half of the problem is solved.
Problem is solved. Right,
And of course,
and that's a very good
problems.
comparison.
Yes.
If you have a problem and you can go into it, then you know what you still have to deal with.
Yes, definitely. Well, let's get into the conversation about seniors who are shut-ins. And this is an area that is really, really dear to my heart. Seniors who are probably using a wheelchair or maybe blind and maybe and may not be privileged to get out of the home environment much or any at all. What measures are in place so that these seniors don't feel a sense of abandonment and, you know, it's like you're missing out on life, you're missing out on everything?
And yes, we have members who are shut in, and our first response is to keep in touch with them by calls.
Okay.
And calls are very important because sometimes that is all someone wants or needs.
True.
Because a lot of our people are independent. Independent in the sense that they want to do things by themselves.
Yes.
But they would like for somebody to call and say, how are you going? You say, all right, I'm going all right, you know, and so on and so forth. Yes. But the fact is, it is very important. Again, it's the communication aspect. Having called and so on, and I must say that WhatsApp, for instance, is a very, and a lot of us have that now, yes. But if even we don't, we need to be in contact. But having called, then you decide who has to be visited.
Okay.
Because visiting must come into it.
Right.
But again, because of the protocol, you will call first.
Yes.
And you may not visit everybody in a short time, but the fact is, again, by calling, you will know who you need to go to more immediately.
Yes.
So, yes, shut-ins is a fact of life. And again, I must say it's an attitude, because there was a gentleman in our group who lost his leg, one of his legs recently, but you would never know that from seeing him he's on the chat,
okay,
and he's right there with everything, and so on and so forth. So again, attitude is important.
Yes.
But it is very important that we reach out and have all our members should get all the information and have all the communication possible.
Yes. And even as you spoke about the phone, because I heard a senior citizen said sometime, even if something else is not working in my house, make sure my phone is working.
My phone is working.
Because you want to be able to call persons, you want to be able to interact with persons. Mm-hmm. How are you doing today? Yeah. You know, just that kind. Because you may not be in a position to be going out of the home. Mm-hmm. Or some senior citizens who are shut-ins, they may only have the opportunity to go out when probably they are going to the health center, mm-hmm. that kind of thing. So the phones are very important. Mm-hmm. And I am very happy that you spoke about the chat, because with the chat, they're still interacting. You mm-hmm. can send something, maybe someone is going through a little problem, mm-hmm. a little swelling of the knee or something like mm-hmm. that, and they could say that on the chat, and someone may be able to give them a little remedy.
And there are the homespun remedies, and the lemons, and the this and the that, and YouTube. A lot of things are coming out on YouTube now, and yes. they are passing them around.
Of course. And
letting us, you know.
Yes, so that phone is super, super, super important. Mm-hmm. In staying in the same vein of treating with shut-ins, knowing that one is unable to move around the home or even come out of the home, that alone can bring some issues. It can also bring some issues.
And depression sometimes.
Yes, because I was just going to say, in terms of depression, having to depend on another person to take care of you, to do the things that you have been accustomed doing all your life. Mm-hmm. And you're now thinking, oh, I feel so helpless. And now someone else has to get into the mix mm-hmm. to come and, okay, I usually know how to tidy myself. Now mm-hmm. someone else has to come in to do that. And there's a lot going on in the mind. And of course, mm-hmm. maybe thinking that they may be a burden to their family. Let's talk about the impact, the reality for our seniors.
Well, first of all, the people who interact with them need to have a certain amount of sensitivity to those points that you just made. They need to have those points in their mentality without showing that they are, what should I say? They need to show that, not come over as being overbearing. Or say, I need to do this for you, and so on and so. They need to be very gentle. But put yourself in the other person's place.
Well, that is exactly
it. That is basically what it is. You need to put yourself in the other person's place and still give them their space, but let them know that you are here to assist. Not to take over. They're to assist, and let me know what would you like me to do for you, and so on and so forth. Because the mind, again, is a very sensitive thing, a very powerful thing. And they will sense if you're not...
of course, if you're not doing it willingly,
if you're not sincere, they will sense it. They will sense it. In fact, if you're not, you better let somebody else come to do it.
Yes, precisely.
They will sense it.
Of course. And I know our seniors, they have a sense of independence. They like to do things for themselves.
A lot of them prefer to stay living in their own house.
Precisely, as opposed to go into a home, or although some persons say, okay, with a home, at least you have persons on a daily basis to interact with and that kind of thing. But I find a lot of seniors being much more comfortable in their own space. This is their living room, this is their television, that kind of thing, and have persons over to visit, have persons to come in, a caretaker to come in.
And that visit could be a caregiver. Or someone just be as a companion during the day. And some people have two caregivers, one in the day
and one in the night.
With casual, and one in the night in case of anything happening in the night. So that again, and that what you just said is true, that rather than having someone in your home, or call it in your face all the time, they are there when you want them to be there. So that you do not feel, you are alone but not lonely. And there are people around. And again, what we encourage is that even if you are in a house by yourselves, we encourage what we call the buddy system. That you are here and someone else is there, and you can call that person and see what's going on. So they are buddies of each other, almost as if they are in the same compound. Right? And again, that's another principle that one of our previous cheerleaders in our group came to us with, and we are again trying to get that in the keeping together, contacting each other, communicating.
But in terms of even delving in a bit deeper as it relates to persons who are shut in and they're just feeling that they just cannot go out and do things as before, what kind of, do you have like any kind of, well, what should I say, emotional support? I mean, apart from family members, do you have, I know you have your visits and that kind of thing, but do you have like professionals they can have access to? They may just need somebody to speak with.
In our age group and in our organization, we have members who have been in every single profession. Just this morning, I asked a doctor to call a lady who had a stroke and bring her up to date, and on certain things like recuperative measures and so on. Just after that, doctor called, and that doctor is not here. That doctor has gone abroad recently. And the lady that she called back to me and said, well, I'm doing this way, I'm doing, and that sort of thing, I'm getting there, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So, yes, we're talking about communication, but yes, we have the expertise that people might want. A new member recently could not attend a function we had because there was an emergency in her family. It turned out, she said what it was, and I was able to let her know we can reach out and give information to that relative of hers, and so on. So it's coming back to transforming lives one at a time.
Yes.
Because again, we might be transforming that life for that person.
Yes.
Right? And that new member will have a greater understanding of what we can do for the people in our organization.
Right. For persons who have been on the move all their lives, up and about, taking care of the family, at your work and everything, I think it's a culture shock for some of them. Well, for my dad, he's retired, but he has taken up gardening, and this allows him to keep the adrenaline flowing. And of course, there is nobody like my dad when the cucumbers and the sweet pepper and stuff, when you see the harvest.
And nobody else can touch it.
Listen to me. He will call and say, listen, Dianne, this came from my garden, you know. With such pride and such accomplishment that, hey, I am retired, but I have been refired.
Right. So we have plans to have some placards and come out with them, maybe in a band, maybe for Tobago Carnival. Once we can get a truck to go with us, and the truck might have to play old-time music.
Well, that's out of the box.
Right.
I wasn't expecting that there.
The placards are old, but I ain't cold.
Right.
Age is just a number.
Correct.
Today is the beginning of the rest of my life.
Okay.
And the question is attitude. I must say your father has the right attitude already.
Yes.
And coming back again, we have actually to make it a point for ourselves to prepare those who are not yet retired,
right,
even among our own, to know, as you say, it is a culture shock. It is a culture shock. And I told some people once that there was a gentleman that I was working in my working life, and he retired. And well, his job was mainly at a desk as we were coming into the building. But his last day was, let's say, today, a Friday. And he came in on the Monday, and he came in on the Tuesday, and he came in on the Wednesday. And then I realized that he had nothing else to turn to. And so that he was still coming back as he was more comfortable in work.
Wow. So
that, again, we're looking at the question of letting people know that you have more time now to do the things you wanted to do.
True.
You have more time. If you never learn the pan, you can still learn the pan now. Right? The gardening is very important. You maybe never took up painting.
Right.
You had artistic qualities and you never, right? So that it is very important to know that your life has not come to an end.
Right.
And that you have more time now to do the things that you did not seem to figure you had time to do before.
Yes.
Some people wait until they retire to go on a cruise. Maybe it's good to try to go on a cruise before that so you know what you will have.
Right.
Right? And, you know, things like that.
Yes. Well, my next question actually was tell us some meaningful activities. Well, I realized you started to touch on that.
Okay.
Some meaningful activities that our seniors can get involved in. I was even thinking ballroom dancing. You spoke about dancing before.
Ballroom dancing is very important.
Yes.
I have already suggested to some of the members of my group that we must have a retro party this year.
But Mr. Cole, you're not easy.
A retro party. Well, again,
Yes.
bringing the youths,
Right.
in this case, because I got that idea from my stepdaughter.
Okay.
I went to Trinidad a particular day because that's where she lives.
Right.
And before we went home, she passed an Invaders Barnyard.
Right.
And that night I saw, well, the young and the old were there because they have a youth steel band, right? And even after they stopped playing, some of them were there with a basketball and so on. And again, I saw that togetherness between the young and the old.
Synergy.
But so people were coming for bags. I said, what are these bags they're coming for? These are bags to go to play on Republic Day, Juve Republic.
Okay.
So I got the idea from my stepdaughter again about this retro party.
Right.
And that same weekend, there was this retro party. I went out and bought bracers, the long time bracers.
Yes.
Right? I went to the party, somebody had on a wig, somebody had on, well, that particular party, they tied it in with Halloween.
Okay.
So, but bell-bottom pants were the thing.
Yes, I know bell-bottom pants.
And they were only the old tunes.
Yes.
Like Hotel California and so on and so forth.
Right.
So,
but you know, before you continue on that, because that sounds very exciting, we're going to take another short break and we will come back with that excitement. All right, viewers? I know you wanted me to say, but we've got to take a break. All right? Transforming lives one at a time.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to DCell's Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. DCell's Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at DCell's Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Okay, we are back and we are speaking to PRO, Mr. Selby Cole. And just before the break, we were talking about it. Was it a retro party?
Party.
Right, and you had the bell-bottom pants. Is it that, well, you had to go and purchase that, or you had some from home under the mattress or something?
Didn't have any again, you know?
Yes, we continue to talk about meaningful activities that our seniors can get involved in. And as I think about that, I thought about passing in Mount Irving in an early morning. And even, we know we have the group that goes to Swallows.
Well, I'm in Swallows.
Oh, you're part of that, right. So I know there are a lot of
Swallows,
seniors.
there are two different groups. One that is up the road and one is down
to the hotel.
by the mansion trees.
Yes.
And some walk on the beach from one to the other and so on and so forth.
So just tell us a little bit about that. What is it? Various groups coming together? You'll just come in the beach to exercise? Tell us about it.
One of the greatest things, I grew up in Trinidad actually. So I am now a Tobagonian, if you want to put it like
that. By boat.
By boat, right. One of the greatest things I could say is the question of being close to water, being close to the sea. I think it's some Tobagonians. I don't know that they appreciate it as much as they should. Unfortunately, I have seen some people come to the beach when they got a stroke.
Yeah.
Not before. It's better if you can come before. But the fact of the matter is, it is a great time, so you don't have to go to work, and you have that much more time to do that as your first thing in the morning. And clubs have started because, yes, you have the aqua joggers in Mount Irving. And depending on where you are, you get to that area which is closest to you. We celebrate birthdays in the water sometimes, right? We bring sandwiches.
Wow.
even a brandy,
Wow.
right? Because the water would be cold, right? But the fact is, it is getting together. It is, some people, two or three gentlemen the other morning, they had a little, those little tape recorders,
Yes.
and they were on the beach going in time,
With the
right?
music.
In other words, they were not going in as yet, but they were there doing the exercises on the waterfront.
Right.
The fact is, again, it is, you could say, well, look, this person hasn't come to the beach this morning, where are they? Right? So you have that checking out for each other, and you expect to see them.
Of course. And of course, being on the beach early morning, well, personally for me, I'm not an early morning beach person. I think the water will be very cold and I'm already scared. Right.
All right.
But I know it's very therapeutic, especially early morning before the sun is up and that kind of thing, because I have an aunt, she would normally visit now and again. My mom used to go, but she has been very unfaithful in going. So I'm hoping that when she sees this program, she's going to be encouraged again to go and to the beach.
Right. So the first thing is that somebody will have to bring out. She needs to come out with somebody.
Yes.
Because there's safety in numbers and there is togetherness and unity in numbers. Coming back to the water situation, even sometimes you figure it's cold, but it's when you dip your fingers in the water, then you know that the water itself is swirling around and has some warmth. Right. So that, again, it's a case of not unless you get into something, you know how it really is.
Very well. Well, we are encouraging our seniors to ensure and take the sea baths early morning. It's very therapeutic, it's very relaxing, and of course you have other persons there. You could share a laugh, you could share conversation, you could do a little singing, and so much more, I am sure. As we begin to wrap up today, how can family members play a more significant role in the lives of their loved ones as it relates to their overall care, and of course how in terms of being more educated in pertaining to caring for the seniors?
Okay, well, almost anything you want nowadays you can get on the internet. So that that is one place to go into the web and learn certain things that are peculiar to your own family situation. What I can say also, there are a lot of articles coming out in the newspapers now which can cater to many of the things that you could would want to learn.
Right.
The elder members of your family, we are privileged, those of us in our organization, to have a magazine that we get 3 times a year.
Okay.
And in that, again, it has a lot of articles of the things we could do, the things we that are available for us to do. Right? I should also let you know that our chat, we have 2 chats. One chat is only for news and notices of our organization.
Okay.
But the other one, you can put how this lady who is 90 something years and look, she's dancing there. Right? Or this person is going to the gym and they're 75 and so on. So again, that is, if you want to call it, an online magazine where you can see inspirational things.
Yes, motivational.
Okay, and things come out in the papers. You might send an article to that chat and say, what are your impressions about this? What would you do in this case, and so on. But the fact is that information is there, and yes, just by being a family member, just by having family members, and you all are circulating and consulting with each other, you make sure that you know, that you make sure that they know what are the things that are important to you, and so on and so forth. You share these things. What we're seeing happening is a lot of our activities, the members are bringing their family members, their
Okay.
younger family members.
Right.
That again is rapport right there.
Yes, yes. Because as you mentioned, bringing younger family members, I was at your Christmas, you had a Christmas concert at the library last December, yes?
No, we had something in August, but it must be on one of the other groups.
Well, I'm not sure if it's Christmas. Well, maybe it was in August. But my aunt invited me to
Right,
come
it was
to
August,
that.
yeah,
Right,
right.
probably.
Okay.
Probably. And I came
right.
to that, and you know, it was a really nice concert. And
And we have some plans for this year already, because we have to
Okay.
start taking down certain songs and so on, and right? And
Right.
because out of that concert that we have annually,
Yes.
we eventually formed a choir.
Right, yes.
But
I
big-
listened to
right.
I listened to the choir as well,
Right?
yes.
And in January last year, having had the concert the year before, some members came and said, let's do ballroom dancing.
Oh.
So that eventually ballroom dancing started, but we have to go back to the drawing board on that because the attendance dwindled.
Right.
So, but we have a lot of new members.
Okay.
And people have been saying, when are we starting back? When are we starting
Right.
back? So we have to have a more structured approach. I think we just rushed into it and
Yes.
said, okay, every week who comes, they pay this amount.
Right.
I think we need to be more structured.
Okay.
And make sure we have the attendance registers and so on and so forth. And I think
course.
right.
Definitely. Well,
And,
that sounds really good.
Okay, I might be telling tales out of school, but the fact of the matter is, some of us never been on a horse. Some of us have never been on a horse. We have in Tobago
Yes.
horses.
Healing with horses.
Right.
Beaucoup.
So again, this is something that my group has not gone into yet as a group.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, that is one of the things
Yes.
that if you never did,
Right.
try to do it now.
Well, it sounds to me that you all have a lot of exciting plans afoot, and I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I am definitely excited for you. Finally, let's talk about support systems that are currently in place for our seniors, and where family members can reach out for added support.
Right. So we're looking more now at the state providing certain things. We have been having some dialogue with the aging unit.
Okay.
Okay. Now the thing about it is that there is transport available. There's transport available for, but of course you have to be registered and get to know, so that they will know how to come to you and so on.
Yes.
There's transport available in certain circumstances if you need to go to like the health
Right.
clinics and
Yes.
so on and so forth, right? We need to let our members know that all those facilities are available,
Right.
right? When we are having functions, we need to be able to provide transport for those who might not be coming out as often.
Okay.
We went to Blue Food. We carried about
that was in
34.
Bloody Bay? Yes.
Right, we carried about 34 people to Blue Food.
Wow.
But only on the same morning we knew that 2 or 3 of the people might have had a problem in getting into the maxi.
Oh.
So we need to make sure, for instance, that when we're having an excursion,
Yes.
we are prepared for whoever comes.
Correct.
And that we have, okay, if the particular maxi must be able to have a way that someone who even wants to bring in their own wheelchair must be able to be accommodated.
Yes.
Or you have particular seats and so on and so forth.
Set aside.
So that, again, it's a work in progress in the sense that now we realize we have to make sure that we have facilities
Right.
for those sort of eventualities.
Good. Well, I am very happy that you are the contact where you can be able to now liaise with the aging unit, so whatever the needs are for the seniors in your organization. And I would really like to encourage persons, I mean, just having this conversation in terms of so many exciting initiatives that the organization TTAP has lined up. I would encourage retirees and senior citizens to get on board. I am sure that you would want as many persons on board so that when you have activities, you know, you really have a nice togetherness. Yes. And of course, as you partner with the middle age and the youth, we could have better collaboration.
Because we can never leave out the youth.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Finally, just share your organization's contact information and your location. Do you have an office in Tobago? Let us know about that and your contact number.
So I must say that, and it didn't come into the conversation before, there are 11 groups, 2 in Tobago.
Okay.
Because we have our TAP group. Our group is in the western part of Tobago.
All right.
Just geographically. And there's another group in the eastern part called the Pembroke Cultural Stars.
Okay.
So they would normally cater to the members in Speyside, Bell Garden, right, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But we can visit we visit one another and sometimes have joint.
Wonderful.
In Trinidad, there are 9 groups.
Wow.
So what we're looking at really now, I should say there are 42,000 members in Trinidad and Tobago, nationally. So, yes, ttalp.org, that is the head office.
Okay.
We have our information, our particular, and some members are coming online now. They're joining online.
Right.
Right, so that that's another facility.
Yes, of course.
So we have our zone. Some years ago, the zones, we call them zones or groups. We took the initiative to find a peculiar home name for each group, and our group is called the Corals.
Okay.
The Pembroke group is called the Pembroke Cultural Stars. So each group has in Belmont, they call it Belmont Bees. So each group has something. We are the Corals.
Yes.
So eventually we have our own email address, and it's taptobagocorals@gmail.com.
All right.
Easy to remember.
WhatsApp number?
I have my WhatsApp number is 3900142.
All right, just say it again a bit slowly.
3900142.
All right.
Our secretary is 374-8677. We have that sort of information on our letterheads.
All right.
We started a Facebook page when COVID had just come in. We are looking to revive it because we haven't done anything with it.
Okay.
And that again is going to have it's TTAP Corals, right?
All right.
And we actually hope to have our information put out on that, so that again this will be another medium.
Yes.
Right. While I was waiting to come in for this interview, I got a phone call in the lobby, and it was a lady who wants more information about the group.
Wow.
So I told her that please allow me to have, and then I would get back. And
yes.
Our group we have developed some templates, again on WhatsApp, that we can just tap and send it to you, and you have this information.
Oh, wonderful, right? Wonderful. All right, well, it seems like you have everything going great for TTAP. I'm so happy that you would have joined me today, Mr. Selby Cole, and he's a PRO of TTAP, for engaging us. You engaged us in the issues that are relevant for our senior citizens and of course our retirees. So I want to thank you once again for coming in, and I want to wish TTAP all the best in your future endeavors. And of course, remember, you can always partner with us here at Transforming Lives One at a Time.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, this is how we wrap things up for yet another program. Feel free to connect with us on Facebook And of course, to subscribe on our YouTube channel, Transforming Lives One at a Time. You could like, you could comment, you could share. And of course, if you have a topic that is probably burning, you have a passion about this topic, you could feel free to share it with us, and we will see how best we can be able to accommodate you. So this is how we take our leave for today's program. I am your host, Dianne, and of course I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.